Welcome to the futurist public intellectual. I just finished watching the critically acclaimed Netflix series Beef, so I was inspired to address the recent controversy involving one of the supporting actors in the show, David Choe. Choe used to have a podcast called DVDASA, which stands for Double Vag, Double Anal, Sensitive Artist, and co-hosted it with adult film star Asa Akira. In a March 2014 episode of this podcast, Choe detailed an incident that he called rapey behavior. During this alleged incident, he described masturbating in front of a masseuse and eventually forcing her to blow him. When there was public outcry about the episode, Choe issued a statement saying that the incident was not real and that he made it up to be provocative. 9 years later, this podcast incident has come back to haunt him because A24, Beef's production company, has been criticized for casting someone with questionable character. For example, one person on Twitter called The Sacrifice of Victor tweeted, "I was going to watch Beef, but now I won't." One of the actors in it, David Choe, admitted to raping a black woman, and it's disgusting how everyone involved with that show knew about it and ignored it. Ali Wong and Stephen Yun are executive producers. Due to this backlash, the creators of Beef issued a statement on April 21st. The story David Choe fabricated 9 years ago is undeniably hurtful and extremely disturbing. We do not condone this story in any way, and we understand why this has been so upsetting and triggering. We're aware David has apologized in the past for making up this horrific story, and we've seen him put in the work to get the mental health support he needed over the last decade to better himself and learn from his mistakes. While I understand that this podcast incident was a little weird and wanting to be provocative for an artist is pretty normal, Choe's casting in Beef doesn't justify rehashing an old situation. He has already apologized for it, and until Rose the masseuse steps forward and claims that she was raped by Choe, there's no reason not to believe that this is a fabricated story. Why is there so much hullabaloo over a rape that never occurred? All this energy wasted over non-issues is so exhausting. This media attention over Choe's behavior does bring up an important issue, though. Like the aforementioned Twitterer, should we base our decisions about art and media consumption on the character of its creator? The answer is a resounding no. Just like the children of serial killers should not be judged for their parents' actions, the artistic progeny of problematic artists should not be punished for their creators' faults. It's even further removed when it's the moral characters of producers that poison the works of the production company. The salient example, of course, is Harvey Weinstein. If Weinstein's rapist history prevented one from morally watching his production company's movies, then Django Unchained and The Imitation Game would have to be avoided, and perhaps even Kill Bill from his Miramax years. What does the production company have to do with the moral questionableness of its works? Shouldn't the work itself be judged? While I understand the PR move, I don't see the moral necessity of A24 issuing a statement. I don't understand what the public thinks the moral standard needs to be for artists. I personally think that it makes sense to have a rather high moral standard for politicians, and yet we continue to elect people who certainly do more questionable things than simply fabricating a provocative rape incident. Artists create art. Art is often stimulating, offensive, and even fake. Just like how The Starry Night can be appreciated long after its creator has gone from the earth, we don't need to wait for David Choe to die for us to appreciate the brilliance of Beef. Thank you for listening to the Futurist Public Intellectual.